So again, very skeptical.
You think it's more important to get clarity passed and yield will come, or fight the fight to get it?
I see both sides, but the way I feel personally is we should take things while we can get them.
Right.
So this was a big thing that we had a discussion about. A lot of executives at Ripple had this discussion when Trump became president at the second time, and we said, hey, he's really moving positive to crypto. There were a couple of one side, there was sort of two, nobody was really solidly in either camp. I'm sort of just giving you extreme versions. But one camp was like, we should do everything right now. We should go public. We should get all the customers we can. We should, do everything we possibly can right now. And then if things turn bad, maybe we'll lose something. But the further ahead we get, the better. Right. And the other one was like, we should be very careful because we don't know how long this is going to last. If we go public and the next SEC is, very unfavorable, what can we do? And I think we leaned harder into the first camp than the second camp, with the exception of truly irreversible decisions that create live or die risks. Obviously, as Monica, our president, puts it, make hay while the sun shines. Right? The sun's shining. So on clarity, I think let's get it. I don't think there's much risk of backsliding. Sure, let's get the best bill we possibly. I'm not mad at people who tried to push back against the banks and threatened the bill. As long as they actually, you know what I mean? It's one thing to bluff and say, yeah, we'd rather have no bill than a bill that has this. But if you really mean that, I think that's probably, and then again, a bluff only works if it's semi-credible. So it may be that we all actually sort of secretly, I don't know, we may all sort of secretly agree. We want as much progress as we can get, and then we'll try to get more, and we'll try to get more, and we'll try to get more. And if later we get pushed back a bit, or we don't get as far as we want, I think the strategy is let's get as much as we can, as soon as we can. But again, I don't criticize the people who push back on that, because if we say we'll take anything, then we're going to get crafted. So I'm completely sympathetic to people like Coinbase, and I think Charles Hoskins or a couple other people. I'm completely sympathetic to them saying we'd rather have nothing than this bill, under the assumption that they sort of don't really mean it, but sort of have to see what, maybe we're all on the same page, maybe not, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say we're all on the same page and want the best bill we can get, and none of us really wants nothing rather than a pretty good bill, but we have to have that position to push come, right? If we cave, then we're never going to get a compromise. Is better than if we cave, and it worked out. It looks like, yes, we did push it right to the line. Honestly, if clarity doesn't happen within the next 6 weeks or so, we pushed it right, but that's how you get right, that you get the best deal on a car by being about to walk away from a deal, right? That's kind of a sign that maybe you got. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't have any inside baseball views from. I have some inside views about Ripple's strategy. We wanted the best bill we thought we could get, and we weren't playing any games. We were honest about that from the beginning, but then we weren't in the position where we had to be. And honestly, to some extent, it probably helps Ripple's book. It being difficult to give rewards kind of helps us, because we're more aimed at the enterprise side, where there's more ways to get around that than the retail side. But we're going to move on to retail at some point anyway. The way I think about Ripple's strategy is enterprise today to pave the way for retail tomorrow. That's what happened with the internet. Right. The first customers in the internet were government, military, even large corporations, and that's what built an internet that had the things that ordinary people wanted. I think our strategy is enterprise today, because what do we have that the average person in America, in the crypto DeFi space, what do we have that the average person in America needs? Not all that. Very little. And that's why DeFi's been stuck at about $150 billion or so for the last 2 years. So,
David, I got it.
So we need to be able to have the stuff that ordinary people, payments, checking accounts, banking accounts, loans, sensible investments, equities, treasuries, things like that. And it's enterprise adoption that's going to pave the way for that. So Ripple is going to need all those things in a couple of years, but we don't need it now. So to some extent, it wasn't our fight. We need clarity around digital assets.
Yeah, right. Agreed.
Yeah. So we were like, if we can get that, that's like a home run from our point of view. But also, I don't want to ever be in the position of trying to slam the door behind me, getting everything I need and say to everybody else, go fend for yourselves. And so I absolutely bear no ill will to other people who pushed what they needed. Just as when something that I believe in aligns with my own interests, I feel like I have to be careful. Here, it's in my interest to get security for digital access. It's not so much in my personal interest, at least in the short term, to get these rewards and other things.
Right.
I mean, I'd like to see the big banks collapse, but we're working with them. Like, does it really suit my short term interest? Maybe not. So again, I always give this disclaimer, like when I'm saying things that benefit me, I understand that we all have a blind spot, and I try to see my own, but
Ripple's not shutting the door. The
honest.
government shut the door, though. They can't blame Ripple if Ripple gets something and the door gets shut. That's not Ripple shutting the door.
I think that's true. I just don't want us to be in a position of just advocating for ourselves. I think, I'll just give you an example. Imagine if the government really clamped down on the internet but gave Google a free pass.
Right.
Would Google be at a half the size, a third the size it is now?
Yeah.
The pie is so big, the potential pie is so big, and the pie today is so small.
Right.
I really do think, like in the abstract, it's hard to feel it emotionally, but in the abstract, I think it's in our interest for our competitors to be successful.
Absolutely.
For now, anyway.
Yeah.
So,
David, question for you. Charles Hockinson talks about, the way we know any bill we get, it's not going to be, if you get a good bill, the other side's happy, right? And
Yes.
Charles talks about if this bill goes through, every single new crypto will be a security, and that will limit the industry and screw it. Do you believe that? Is there truth to that, where you think it will hurt the industry and not allow it to grow, as you were just talking about?
So that's exactly the concern. What we don't want is to slam the door. I mean, yes, it would be great if every crypto existing today, or the majority of them, had legal clarity. That would be a big win.
Right.
Now, is that worth making things actually harder for newcomers? I mean, that's a tough
trade-off.
call. Obviously, here I talk my own book. I'm like, we have enough right. I don't want to do that. I never want to slam the door, and I would never. And I've always advocated for Ripple not pushing to slam the door. And I'll say that to everybody out there. We want the space to grow. We want competition. The Bitcoin maxis are just wrong about everything. Even like the XRP maxis, there are some.
Yeah.
I think they're wrong. I think we want everybody. We want innovation.
Everybody to
What
play.
attracted me to the cryptocurrency space in the beginning was the pitch for Bitcoin, which at the time was throw out all the old technology that enriches the legacy stakeholders and build on the best technology that you can find and give the people who are going to use your technology the best experiences you can.
Yeah.
And I still think we want to do that. And when that's not Ripple, when that's not XRP, when that's not Bitcoin, when that's not Ethereum, then it can be something else. And then it's on us to make our technologies better for people. But I really think that doesn't everybody wins world. And so I hope we don't actually do that. I hope it doesn't turn out that way. But again, I'll take, again, I'm talking my own book a little bit here,
Right.
so caution, but take a victory that we can get it, even if it's not everything we want.
No, we need something better than nothing. I liken this.
But I personally do not even believe it's in my own interest to slam the door on other people, and I hate to see people actively advocating for that.
Yeah.
If that's the best we can get, we should take it and then fight for more.
Right.
But I would hate to see people advocating.
My last question for you is, I've likened the Clarity Act to the Telecom Act that we got back in '96 that allowed the internet boom to happen. Do you agree the same thing could happen, where that will unlock a boatload of liquidity and institutions to be able to invest in this space once we get the clarity back, even if it's not a perfect bill?
100%. 100%. And I don't think we're going to lose any gains in the short, at least certainly not with this administration. And I mean, so I think we should take whatever gains we should get, and be very happy about them.
I agree.
I
appreciate it. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Just heard it right there from the man himself, David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, or Private.